You're listening to the Energy is Love podcast.
I don't know what's all these sounds. I can hear a million things right now and it's freaking me out.
You're okay.
It's like there's tiny little dinosaurs everywhere. They're like, I'm like, what is that?
Belly.
It's actually not.
It's our stomach's growling.
Right? But there's like sounds from, and it's weird because it's in my headphones.
There was
So I'm like, where is it coming from?
There was a reel that we made last week. I don't remember which one it was.
Yeah.
And the whole time I could hear our stomachs as I was editing it. And I was like, is that too noticeable? And then I think I just told myself, fuck it. And so, yeah, if you heard our bellies grumbling on one of those reels, then
If it's noticeable, it'll be in the comments.
Right.
People won't leave that alone. They're like, what? Somebody needs to eat or somebody needs to poop. One of the two.
Usually we need to eat.
Right? We're doing these fasting.
Yeah, that's been the biggest, like,
As I drink my
end
soda. We're being really healthy. Here's my orange pop going down the I don't know, the
that's
throat,
true.
whatever.
Going down the throat. Oh, baby, you're cute.
I'm working on my sick roll.
This year, 2024, it's 2023.
It's 2023.
It's been amazing.
It's been something.
It's been amazing, folks. That's it.
It's
Podcast
been,
over.
All right.
This
Bye-bye.
is like obviously we talked about it, I guess, in the intro, but this is the end of the year episode. And we do this every year where sometimes in the past we've gone back and we've like recapped every episode.
We've done like our favorite episodes.
Right. We've done a couple of different things, but this year alone, like 2023, I think has been probably one of the biggest years in our relationship that we've ever had before. Wouldn't you say? Is that too much?
I'm exhaling. Like 2023 it's been incredibly challenging.
It's been so hard.
It's been so much that I squished 2022 and 2023
Right.
is the same one. And I didn't realize that there's been an entire other year in there.
Yeah.
I combine it and I'm like, wait, what? And
It does feel like it though.
it threw me. Like we were talking about March, and it was one of the retrograde that was happening. And I'm like, shit, this time last year we were talking about
Moving.
You just said moving, and I'm like, I cannot handle that again. You're like, wait a minute, this time no, we were
in Tennessee.
here. We were already teaching yoga. We were already doing the things, and I completely compressed that.
Yeah.
Because it's been so.
Well, it's that whole thing where time's not linear, right?
It's that whole thing where time's not linear, and it's also that whole thing where this year's been full of a lot of emotion for me. I've got to practice some really difficult emotions.
Yeah.
So it's been intense. It's just like I mashed them together. I lost time in this time frame.
Totally.
I just totally lost time.
I think, like for me personally, first off, we've been in Tennessee. If you're not like, if you're brand new to the podcast, we moved last year, and
It's a year now,
it's exactly a year.
but we're not in our house yet, technically exactly a year, but we're almost in our house.
Yeah, she's talking about like the date,
Very
the actual
analytical.
date, right? Like we're in our house right now. Obviously,
We were
recording
in
this
Airbnb
episode.
in Tennessee last year at this time.
We were. I don't even know if we had officially closed on our house yet, but
No, we hadn't. No.
yeah, it was interesting. Like we could sit here and reminisce on that journey and that experience, but some of the key things for me that stand out is like you said, this year has been a massive amount of practice, meaning grief and sadness.
That's
and
my number one,
like
grief.
expectations, right? We talked about that on last week's episode of like changing up expectations and letting go of expectations, and all of these things have just been like day in and day out, week after week after week after week. This is the kind of stuff that we've been processing and healing through. And I know for me personally, I feel like right now, legitimately today, whatever today's date is at whatever time it is right now, I feel more connected to who I am than I ever have before in my whole entire life. And it's like a new awareness of who I actually am. Like I feel connected to this part of me that I'm discovering, this version of me that's getting to actually exist and to come out and to, like spread its wings and stretch its arms and just get comfortable in my body in a way that hasn't been possible for me prior to this time period.
Yeah.
And I'm really grateful for that. And it's also come at an immense amount of that internal work and that shadow work and the sitting and all the discomfort. And I mean, we've been doing it. I feel like probably for the first 4 or 5 months of this year, we were completely like out of our bodies, just getting through the motions of everything. And then when we would finally have a down period, we just like vegged and like, do you know what I mean? We were still just so dissociated from everything that I feel like a lot of the beginning of the year was a real haze. I don't remember super clear details. And then after about, I guess, April, everything started to like, it's like the clouds lifted and we started to really embrace different aspects of being here. And we've got a beautiful community of people that we have been able to like connect with and really good friends and all of these other kind of things that have really helped us settle and be here. And now it's like, I mean, I can't imagine, it's not to say I can't imagine this happening had we stayed in Utah, but there's a part of me that thinks this version of me that I'm experiencing now had to go through all of those things, obviously, right? I mean, that makes common sense. That's like, duh, yeah. But it feels really cool.
That gets to be your awareness without shame.
Yeah. I mean, it's really cool to go through these really hard tests in a sense. And I don't like thinking of them like tests. I just like it's just life, right?
Learning experiences.
Yeah. I mean, just
growth opportunities.
Opportunities to practice emotions over and over and over again. And it's so cool.
Yeah.
Like I feel so good today.
Yeah.
You know, and I felt good yesterday and tomorrow I'll feel good. And then come Thursday, see, there's those ghosts,
that was my throat though.
Those ghost noise that we don't know where
that was
that's
like,
at.
that was my throat. It wasn't even my belly. It was my throat.
Yeah. But I mean, some highlights. Do you want to go through some highlights of stuff or where do you want to go, babe? I mean, I just shared a little bit.
You did. I think it's interesting. You're like feeling like you came out of your body in April and maybe you did. Maybe I have a hair something. I didn't start coming out of my body, I don't think till October and maybe not even till the beginning of November.
Yeah.
I think is when I finally was like I surfaced. It's been like, I'm still doing the things, but I've been doing things. I've been showing up.
Yeah.
But it has been immense grief for me. I have been in a year of total grief. I've like, here's grief. Here's the biggest grief you've ever had to feel. And I've just been in grief. I've been in it.
Yeah, swimming in it.
Yeah. And then bouts of trying to get excited about things and not having energy for things until it was just that like realization of just going to let it be this year what it is. Like allow it to be. And some aspects I've had space to do that. And some aspects I haven't had space to do that. But it's just been kind of what it is. And I don't know. I'm not done grieving. Mm-hmm. But I'm hopeful now because it's that point. It's like, and for me, right, there's no time limit on grief. But for me, it's like, okay, it's time to start living. It's time to start making action and change. And it's like I'm ready for like the wounds to heal. You know, I'm ready for that aspect of it. And I'm excited. I'm really excited. And expectations, all the expectations that I had that was supposed to happen over this year didn't happen. And I'm like, okay, I got it's the January of 2024. Here we go. And that keeps looking like it's getting, and what it feels like, taken away from me. It feels like it's getting taken away. And I don't know what point, I don't know how to.
You meaning like the expectations that you have coming up?
No, not the expectation, like the expectation. Yeah, that I'm like, I've given this whole year and now it's going to happen. And it feels like that's also not going to happen now. And it's to the point I'm like, well, either we're going to make this happen or somebody's going to go psychotic. So y'all get to choose your poison. And like, where are we going to make this happen?
Yeah.
Is it going to be making it happen or is it going to be, oh shit, she flipped her switch, which it might be switch flipping time. Also,
depending on the day,
right?
You are close to your.
I'm so close.
Right.
Might be time to flip that switch. So it's just really sitting within that and trying to figure it out. Also, I'm full of excitement. I'm full of joy. I'm full of possibilities. I'm full of momentum. I'm full of hope. It's so weird to have those coexist. And I think we've already talked about that, so I won't go into that again.
Go into
but
it.
It's just the like how much healing actually has to take place for those things to coexist, not at the same time. I'm not like in immense grief and then feeling super optimistic. I'm feeling my grief and I'm feeling my optimism. But the amount of healing that has to take place for them to both exist, because when you're suppressing one, you're suppressing the other. You can't like, I pick and choose. You may pick and choose what feelings you show the world, but not exactly what you're feeling inside. You may think you can. And if you're like, I can, more power to you.
Yeah, you can.
You got it.
You got it. Let us
right?
know. I'm on the podcast next year.
For me, it was suppression of one equaled suppression of another. And there's still feelings that I'm suppressing, which means there's even more happy feelings that I get to feel when I learn how to not suppress everything. But right now, this year of grief has been powerful.
So powerful.
And it sucks, but it's wonderful, right?
Yeah.
It sucks and it's wonderful.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
When you think back on the year, what are some things that stand out, as far as like accomplishments or highlights or happy moments, or do you know what I mean?
Well, we've had lots of happy moments. We've been out and seen cool parts of nature around here and got to make connections, which is great.
Yeah.
But it's like the highlights are the grief, the fact that happened. There's so much of that we...
Do you have a sense of like, not just pride, but like accomplishment, like, oh my God, I did this really hard thing?
I don't have a sense of pride with it, but I have a sense of, I think it's maybe hope, and it's, I don't know, maybe it's just appreciation. I don't know. Maybe it is pride. Maybe it is. When I have to sit in here and think about it, I guess I am proud of myself because I learned how to do something that I've only been shown how to avoid. And it sucks. I mean, of course, would I much rather avoid grief? Of course.
Right.
But we don't really avoid it. We just try to avoid it.
It's a game of tag.
Right.
And grief doesn't go anywhere. It's like, you'll come back.
Right.
You'll come back.
Oh, you think you're okay? Let's play this song. What's the matter? You're kind of falling apart there. Oh, did that bird stir something up in you? Did somebody say a word? Did you there was at one point, oh my God, I'm going to start crying just thinking about it. I heard a little kid, oh my gosh, little girl, like a little baby in Walmart. And it sounded just like, she's 21. Yeah. But I immediately started bawling. And I'm like, I gotta get out of here. So just even hearing that. So I don't know. The grief is a happy moment because I felt it and I chose to be healthy through it instead of letting it take me out. So there's a lot of happy moments. Like it's been really, really hard, but it doesn't mean it's been really, really bad.
Right.
Things have been incredibly hard. I've been challenged in ways that I didn't think I would ever have to feel. It's been incredibly hard, but it hasn't been incredibly bad. So
yeah, I think about
I'm being booby. Okay.
I think like graduating and becoming a yoga teacher this year was really cool.
Yeah. What else you got?
Well, I think like that alone was really cool.
That was really cool.
I think about how integral yoga has been in our life over the last couple of years. And I mean, that has always just blown my mind that is something that now is just a daily thing in our life. Where I remember when we started that yoga training, it was like, I had no idea what we were doing. I also thought like, oh, this isn't something that's going to be really applicable. And then learning over the course of that entire training in the school of how we were already so much practicing yoga and just didn't realize it.
Yoga lifestyle.
Yeah. And now it's like having more awareness of it enhances it, but then I'm also just really deeply grateful. We came here to Tennessee and we had a very specific priority of what we were looking for in regards to a house. And there were a couple of things that needed to the house needed to be in an area that we liked, and it needed to be close to a school because our youngest is still living with us and he's a senior this year and all those kind of things. So there was like a checklist and this house appeared and it checked all the boxes and we bought it. Some of the things that weren't on that checklist were really like, what's the community like, in a sense? Like, what is there to do around the area? What is, all of that kind of stuff we didn't prioritize. And so we've had to explore and learn and figure all of those things out.
Yeah, we prioritize like flood zones.
Yeah.
We didn't want to be in those.
Yeah. And having found Athens Jiu-Jitsu, having found the place where they've got a really good little jiu-jitsu school, and being able to go and immediately get right back into jiu-jitsu, I think was like a godsend.
Yeah.
Because I think it forced me out of those really dark times in the beginning of the year, right? Because there was a place to go do something. And then I love jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Right. And my jiu-jitsu game changed this year because it keeps evolving and growing with me as I grow and evolve. So it just looks different over and over and over again. It's so cool. And then having the added benefit of us being able to teach yoga there every week.
Right.
That worked out perfectly. And if you would have told us like, hey, all of these things are just going to line up for you in a row.
Right.
Like the house will appear. That was like our mantra.
But we knew it was going to. We just didn't know like all the other things.
Well, we knew it was going to, but at the same time, it was like a trusting.
Yeah.
That we were really taking this massive leap of faith. And it's funny now that we're bringing that up because of like our day yesterday.
Right.
And recognizing like these big, massive decisions that we make in life are only scary if we think that we're not going to make it. Like if we move across the country to Tennessee, it's scary because it's scary for a bunch of different reasons with something that large, but it's like, it's scary because we don't think it's going to work out the way that we hope it will.
Right.
And now consistently for probably like the last 3 or 4 years, our life just consistently, continually works out the way that we dream. And I'm like, oh, we don't need to be scared because it works out. Like, we fast forward to the end.
That doesn't mean there's not challenges and trials and
of course
stuff that we have to experience, but it works out.
It works out. And so that was a really cool awareness yesterday. And then looking back over the course of the year, like I just get that reiterated over and over and over again, right? Like it works out.
Yeah.
Everything that we were afraid of, we didn't have to be afraid of because it worked out. And having a place to teach yoga, because we had a place in Utah and we were digging it, but we had just like barely started that journey of teaching yoga in person.
Wasn't it like, didn't we get 2 months there before we moved?
Yeah.
Something like that.
And so we didn't really get our, we got our feet wet, but we didn't really find our rhythm with it.
Yeah.
And here we've found our rhythm with it. And we have like this beautiful yoga class that we're so grateful to have. And it's like this it's almost like this beautiful little yoga family that has been developed there.
Right. We're close with them.
Yeah. We're like close with everybody there. And like, I love that. That is such a highlight. And it was something that we didn't plan. No. We hoped. And we're like, man, it would be so cool if we go somewhere. I remember having conversations with you where it was like, we're teaching yoga back in Utah, and it was at a jiu-jitsu school as well. So it was really funny. And
we have our patterns.
Right? It was like...
We also have patterns.
So I remember thinking and even having conversations like, how cool will it be if we just get to recreate? Like, this will happen. Like, we'll get to do this again because it's totally a thing. Like, it works.
Right.
And it was totally a thing. We found a jiu-jitsu place that's super close to the house.
I have to admit, I was pessimistic about that.
Were you?
Yeah. I was like, we'll be able to,
right? I was too, because...
But I thought I thought our sunroom that looked way bigger in the pictures was going to be it. I'm like, I could see us teaching yoga out in that sunroom.
Oh, really?
That's where I thought we were going to do it. Because in my brain, I don't know, my brain converted that picture to like the size of our, like a huge space. And then we walked out there and I'm like, oh... This is cozy.
Right, we can do yoga out here, just the two of us.
Yeah, I guess there maybe one or two other people. Right now, it's just the two of us because we got our water therapy in there.
Right, the hot tub. But I'm really grateful for that opportunity that presented itself.
That was really cool that you had that vision.
Right.
Right.
And
That's a big
like
deal.
shout out to everybody there at Athens Jiu-Jitsu, because everybody there has just been amazing and so welcoming and so loving and so supportive. And so, I mean, we've got to do all sorts of fun stuff there this year with like breath work, and we did that ice thing, you know, back in the summertime. And like, that's our nice little community of friends and family and everything that we have been able to kind of enmesh ourselves into in a really beautiful way that feels great.
Yeah, I haven't ventured out beyond that. I've got, you know, like you have more connections there than I do because you go more than I do.
Yeah.
I only go Wednesdays and with yoga.
Mm-hmm.
But like the connections that I've made there, that's where mine have been. And there's a couple of like some pretty nice connections that I'm making.
Right.
I'm like, you know who you are. I
know,
adore you.
I know. I think we could probably shout out everybody, but we love everybody that we've met there, and we're so grateful for it. And then there's also, I mean, it's like anything else where suddenly you start to find like the people that you feel really gravitated towards, and we're getting some really amazing friends.
I'm getting some bonds there, and that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Some people that I'm really, really happy that we get to know.
One of the things that I really wanted to cultivate and create in our life, because it was something that I had always felt so pulled to, I think, in a sense, and yet it didn't really. I just panicked that we totally forgot to push record.
Do over.
I'm like, oh, this episode's getting really good. And then, okay, but we're still good.
We're good.
Community, like a group, a community of people that we spend time with and that we enjoy. And like all of that kind of feeling, I really wanted to prioritize that kind of in our new life.
Yeah.
And that's what this has felt like, is it's like we're prioritizing that. And I'm really grateful for it, because I think it's helped us immensely kind of get through those really dark early months of this year and really trying to come out of that funk, you know, because it was like week after week, smiling faces, week after week, cool people, week after week, people being like, have you guys gone here? Have you guys gone here? Have you guys gone there? Right. The list of places that people have told us to go. Right. I think we've got like 3 of them checked off.
Right. There's
Buc-ee's.
A lot of really cool places. Well,
apparently there's big ass fucking gas stations.
I think we talked about that. Did we talk about that?
I think we did a whole episode.
That one wasn't quite the same level of other places.
Yeah, that was not.
That was a little different. That was like, all right, well, we did that.
The like Mother Nature in Tennessee
is gorgeous.
But think about it this way too, right? It's amazing and gorgeous, and we're finally feeling connected to it. Didn't feel that way in the beginning.
Oh no! Let's talk about the insect population in this.
Not just the insect population, but like
what?
We were in the house 3 weeks, and then there was a tornado. The road, right? And then the rain.
And and the Google said that the Google lied.
Yeah, the thing
I started stuttering right there. I was like, okay, I'm not moving in the tornado alley.
Right.
Listen to me talk. I'm like getting activated.
Well, we prioritized that. That was on our checklist for the house, was we're not in tornado alley.
Right. We're not going to have to deal with tornadoes.
Yeah. And
the west side of Tennessee, but not the east side.
Here.
Yeah. So. 3 weeks in. And that was the shitty thing, because like we were at home and our son was at school.
That's right.
And it was between us.
Yeah.
It like literally went over the road between us. And so we did okay with it, but that was, and so now when we have tornado watches or tornado warnings, that's a new thing to adjust to.
It is, but we're getting there.
We're getting there.
More comfortable. Like now we have a plan,
right?
Even though the plan is basically.
It's not a plan. We just know how to hunker down and wait it out.
There's this guy.
We don't have a plan.
There's this guy on Facebook. Shout out to this guy. I don't know his name.
Anybody want to dig us a bunker?
And what it is
I know his name. Should I say it?
It doesn't matter. Okay. But because it's very unique and specific to this
area.
Yeah, southeast corner of Tennessee. And he is basically like a amateur weatherman and has a Facebook page, and he just shares when there's storms, right?
Yeah,
so he'll track storms.
He was at a wedding, and he was like staying diligent on it. Like he does this out of the kindness of his heart.
Yeah,
and he's
like so spot on.
What you want every weather person to be, and they never are.
Yeah, and even just like the national, all the apps that we've used to like notify, and they're all way off and way shitty. And this dude's like, yeah, if you're in this, little tiny, like shout out to this guy. He's killing it.
He is. He's amazing.
But what I'm the reason I bring that up is because that's us learning how to live here. So
Right.
we're like, we have a plan.
We have a plan. We have a plan.
Let's go check and see what old guy says.
Yeah.
And like, what is his name?
Josh.
Okay. Let's go see what Josh says about this tornado warning that just popped up on the phone. Oh, Josh says it's fine. Okay, cool. Yeah, we're not worried about it
Right.
anymore.
And then he's just like, he's so on it. He is like just so on it. And he's so like, one of the cool things that is like with that, and there's another news channel that does the same, and it really surprised me because we came from like Utah News is like those ads. It's like watching a trailer for a horror movie. When dangerous weather hits, are you ready? And it starts showing like all this catastrophic weather and like
snowpocalypse.
like they have like the intense music and then breaking news. So all of this stuff that seems really intense. And I didn't know that was unique. And it's probably not because it's like all over.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah. That's not unique at all.
But I meant like I didn't know that there was a different way to do it.
Oh, okay.
You know, I knew there was different ways I should, but it was like when they started to be like dangerous weather, I'm like, what's happening? You know? But this guy is super calm. There's never anything. There's no.
He just tells it like it is.
Yeah, and there's a new show, I think it's Channel 3 that's out here that does the same. This guy will get on and he'll do live broadcasting on the news station and then on his Facebook page. And it was so weird because it was when it took me forever to find it because we were just barely here when that tornado hit. And so trying to find the things because I didn't know I had to look for the things for tornadoes. Didn't know that was a thing. And it was like the calmest thing. He was just talking with facts. And this is where we're looking. It was so calm. It was so weird. It was like I wasn't getting panicked watching it.
Yeah.
There was no hype. There was no commercials in between showing cars getting flipped. There wasn't anything scary. There was no music. There was nothing. It was just like he's sitting there with it on the screen and was just walking us through.
Maybe that's what they do when it's a tornado. Like, I mean,
that's the only time I've watched it. So I don't know any other news, but
yeah. And anyways, it dawned on me that when this episode comes out, so like when people are listening to this episode, right? If you're listening to this around the time that this episode was released, like a week and a half ago, there were some really bad tornadoes in Nashville.
Yeah.
And so I just realized that we're talking about something that's a very sensitive subject for some people that might be listening simply because, I mean, they're really scary.
They're really scary.
And
this one that just hit caused a lot of damage
and I think there were lives some deaths, lost. Right? So by all means, we're not trying to minimize the catastrophe that they are or anything like that. It was really just recognizing for ourselves that how we're getting comfortable in those things that we originally thought we weren't going to. It's kind of like ticks. Like I remember when we moved here and we discovered that we were surrounded and basically just living with ticks all over the place, including our bodies.
That sucks. I'm having a hard time.
Yeah. Baby, they're not out now.
Right. Now's the time where we can go do yard work without having, hijackers on our body. We can go outside
without having to inspect
little
each
blood
other. But
suckers.
now we're used to it. Now we don't let that be a barrier to us going outside.
Now, when there's a tick, we pull it off as opposed to putting burns on Craig's legs because that's how we were taught to do it in the place we didn't have to worry about ticks. So
that's a really funny story. What happened was, and this was like during this time period when we moved here where things were kind of like heavy and hard and we were kind of in this funk. And I had been outside in this outdoor patio of ours, which is an enclosed space. So it's like totally enclosed. However, the guy that built it totally sucked. So it's easy for bugs to come and go in that space. But we do a good job of keeping it clean and organized so that we feel comfortable out there. And I'm out there laying there, relaxing and meditating. I think I did breath work and I was totally zoning out.
Yeah.
And then I remember feeling something on my leg, but I thought that I brushed it away because I thought that it was
like
an
itchy.
ant or
You're going to have to
something.
check my back. Make sure there's no ticks there.
And then like 4 hours later, we're sitting on the couch snuggling, watching a show, and you're like, what's that on your leg? And I'm like, I don't know. And I look down and I'm like, whatever. And then we realize it's a tick
it's attached.
That's in the
it's
journey.
In your leg.
It's coming inside of me. That sounded terrible. No, but the tick is on its way into my leg.
It was in you.
As we speak.
It was inside you.
And so we panic. We both panic, not knowing what to do. But Stephanie,
I knew what to do.
You turned into like, hey, I'm a 911 dispatch. I know exactly what to do.
I had the alcohol. We don't have matches, so I had sticks that I was lighting on fire.
And she proceeds to burn my leg.
Now hear me out, because I know you have to get the tick like under their belly and their butt.
Hold on.
So
what happens is,
and it was in Craig's leg, so there was collateral damage.
in all honesty, I wasn't super freaked out by this.
You didn't even move. I didn't know I was burning you because you didn't flinch. So I
Well,
thought, man, I'm doing such a good job.
What I'm saying is I realized that like I wasn't super freaked out. I was just going to pull it out. But then you were like, no, don't pull it out. And so I'm like, okay, I'll sit here and let you have your experience of this tick in my leg, which involved you burning me. And I realized that as the burn was happening, if I react to
I'll let
this
you
burn,
have your experience with this thing that's happening to me, but by all means,
right?
that's what it was.
And it was totally like, if I react to the burn, it's going to get so much worse.
It would have.
I just have to endure a little bit of pain, get this shit over with.
Oh man.
And so now we've got a nice little scar.
After we got it out, I realized, I'm like, oh, I burned you.
Yeah.
I'm like, you didn't move. You didn't let me know. And you didn't really even say anything to that. But yeah, you have a scar now. It looks like I put a cigarette on your leg.
It's a funny little story.
And it was just a little stick.
Right.
I don't know how I burned you that big.
It's just a tiny little tick. Right. And now we get them and flick them off.
Yeah.
And
now we pull them out.
we don't have to worry about them. I realized another
Also, like, we understand this, like, what can happen with ticks. We're not like the illnesses that can happen, but there's all sorts of things. But we can't, like, this is where we are, and we can't just be in a complete state of chaos and panic. We have to figure out how to be here and not be a complete wreck.
Well, I remember thinking like it was starting to become spring and everything was turning really green. And
all those little fuckers are
everything
everywhere.
was starting to get really beautiful. And I'm like, I want to get outside. But every time we fucking go outside.
Just walking across our yard, coming in there on our legs.
Right. We've got ticks all over us. We've got spiders falling in our face. Like like you said, the insects in this fucking part of the country are no joke. It's much different than, I'm sure people that go back west, right? The people that go east to west, I'm sure out there, they're like, what's going on with all of these gnats or, whatever
scorpions,
else. Yeah, all those
big
things.
Wolf spider. We can handle those things.
But that's the thing, right? It's the same here and that's the funny thing too, like, because we started talking to all these friends that we were meeting and having and getting to hang out with, and they're like, oh yeah, that's whatever. Yeah, you just don't work. Like it's
apparently there's a copperhead season.
You just take care of it
when all the copperheads are like being birthed or mating or something.
Us like, if you smell cabbage, get out of the area.
Or like cucumbers.
It's a cabbage. It's a cucumber.
Right, something. And I'm like, is it fruity? Right. Does anybody smell fruit?
Every time we went hiking, that's what you were doing.
And those, what are they? Are they the racers?
The black
racers, the black racers that are like, they just like shoot like a straight line.
Yeah.
Almost stepped on one of those bad boys.
We sound so like we came from some city where it was, we came
from the desert with scorpions and black widows.
But we also
and
came from a rural community. We experienced.
I don't care where we came from. I have never seen spiders like I've seen out here.
That's true.
And I have not had to worry about walking outside and coming in and brushing my legs and looking to make sure no ticks are on me.
After about dusk,
like,
everything turns into fucking Avatar. Where suddenly, all of these animals and bugs come alive.
There's sounds
you don't see during the day. So it's like suddenly dusk hits, and suddenly I'm like, this is a magical fucking bug from some other land.
Yeah. There's totally fireflies out here, or lightning bugs, whatever you call them.
Like, that was a huge highlight.
Beautiful.
Right.
And then the bats are all like all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
I like bats.
We dig bats. So, bats are good energy.
I saw the most beautiful moth I've ever seen in my entire life here.
Right. So many good things. So
incredible. So I love the moths here. There's been some unique
We've got that
ones.
Owl that will talk to us every so often.
That's right.
We'll wake up in the middle of the night and this owl is just sitting up there because it's dead silent. It's 2 a.m. and then you it's like really, that was a good owl.
That was a good owl.
And that's an amazing thing. Like, that's so fun. There's just
there's also squirrels everywhere. But here's the funny thing with these squirrels is they knock nuts in little tree branches that for some reason sound like trees are falling.
Yeah.
And there's like leaves. And so when they play in the leaves and they're like just scurrying like little squirrel zoomies, it sounds like a big creature.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't know that we didn't have Bigfoot trekking along next to our house.
Well, you just think
And
everything's
so-
a black bear now.
Well,
because you found
also,
out that there's black bears in Tennessee, which, by the way, I didn't know for sure.
also same. I thought we weren't in that area.
I thought there was like a little northeast corner of Tennessee where there was a black bear.
We had a close encounter with a bear in
Right.
Gatlinburg.
And then we got to
That was
experience
cool.
Gatlinburg,
Mhm.
which was a fucking, oh my goodness.
There's so many cool things out here, and
we
the
should
water
do one of the live podcasts in Gatlinburg.
in the
I'm sure there's-
touristy part.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
So it's really busy. If you're
Right.
thinking of coming to Gatlinburg, it's gorgeous.
Don't.
Do the Airbnb.
What's that
That's
one
not
lady?
in the city.
If you're thinking of moving to East
Oh,
Tennessee,
right.
it's full.
She's like, we're full, but I
Yep.
hear Kentucky's nice.
Exactly. Head up to
And-
Kentucky.
She's
You'll
like a
love it up
recovering
there.
Californian.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Tennessee's
Caroline
full
something like
or
that.
something. Yeah, she's pretty funny,
Think
but
about
it's so busy. It's like,
another. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say it's like Park City, but I realized that there's only a select group of people that's going to know what I'm talking about.
It's totally like Park City, Park City, Utah, and people because we have tons of people that are still listening
Right.
to the podcast in Utah, right?
Yeah, it's like Park City during Sundance.
But it's like Park City during Sundance at Las Vegas,
There you go.
right? That's what.
And everything is way more expensive than you think.
It's Park City during Sundance at Las Vegas with a little bit of like
a little bit of Lexus.
no, because there's some Southern charm to
Yeah.
the experience as well.
Yeah,
it's
there
like,
definitely is.
Like you've got the world's biggest knife store, right?
Yes, we've been in there.
Across the street
It's-
from
I don't know if it's like Elf.
like the world's biggest swimming park, so there's just some charm,
Dollywood's out here. We haven't been
Dollywood's
yet,
out
but
there,
come on, Dollywood.
right? Every
Like,
single
hello, Dollywood.
not every single person. I was going to say every single person we've met, and that's not true. We've met some real assholes, but the vast majority of people that we've met interacting with people, going like the grocery store. I was just at the post office today. I love the post office lady.
Yeah.
Right? She's so
How
sweet.
do we look out with post office
She's so
peeps?
sweet.
Like
Yeah.
the ones in Grantsville
Like,
were just like,
if
oh my
you're
gosh,
one
we
of the
adored
Grantsville
you.
post office ladies,
Like-
you guys were our absolute favorite.
And then
right?
I think you called ahead and just like hooked us up with some amazing
Totally.
people out here too,
'Cause
because we
she's a-
somehow
she-
hit it again.
She's a great post office lady.
Yeah.
And our mail lady, like we have the coolest mail lady that will, regardless of like, even if there's one piece of mail,
There's been no pieces of mail.
right? And she'll stop and leave treats for the dog. She's so
Right?
freaking cool.
She
So
is
every
just like
time we get
awesome.
packages, there's treats for the dog.
And our dog knows that she
Mhm.
is loved and she is very excited.
Our
when they
dog is
show up.
also a huge unexpected experience
Yes.
of coming to Tennessee.
Unexpected, unplanned,
Right.
and here she is,
Yeah.
and we're all about her.
Yeah, she's.
If you follow us on social media, you've seen her in our stories.
Her name's Roxy. She's a half lab, half pit mix.
Yeah.
Our son brought her home this summer,
Yeah.
and so ensued the journey with Roxy.
Yes.
And like some of my key takeaways, because I realized I had this thought about you and I think I told you at one
Okay.
point, but the realization was that you and I have never lived without dogs.
Yeah, I've only spent, I don't, like a very short amount of my entire life
Right.
has been not with a dog. I
Like-
always had a pet.
Exactly. And I didn't realize that until I started to think about it. And then I'm like, it's probably because I'm like, I didn't have one when I was like, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So, there's probably less than 10 years in my lifetime, which means 30 plus years with dogs.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that. And what's
That's
interesting to me is, because you know how I feel about dogs, right?
And how you
Like,
feel about your dogs.
well, that's the thing is, I don't like dogs. I tolerate.
Our listener base just fell off. Everybody just unsubscribed.
Well, I tolerate dogs.
Uh-huh.
And there's some other people's dogs that,
What is that?
because I really like the people, that I end up kind of liking their dog.
Yeah.
Baby, you getting squirreled by your chair?
I was trying to lower it and the handle feels weird. I'm like, is the chair broke?
I think I hired it,
You
meaning
can't
I
lower
raised it.
Okay. Anyways, keep going.
So-
dogs.
Yeah, dogs have been in our lives.
Yeah.
And so what
I'm
Roxy,
more of a fan of dogs than you.
well, that's the thing is,
I like dogs across the board.
hold on.
Usually. Okay.
I love my dogs.
Yeah.
Right? Like I love my dogs.
Yeah.
And what I realized was, because I used to have Huskies. I don't think I've talked a ton about the Huskies on the podcast. I'm sure they've come up before, but I had Huskies when I was in my 20s, and I had 4, and they were just such significant, like travel buddies for me. Like, I look at that experience with those dogs as just these amazing fucking friends that were with me through all of these incredibly hard times, you know. And the journey that I had with those dogs was so profound for me over the years, and still is. Like, that's the thing that I was saying about Roxy was, you know, every dog is a conduit to the other dog. Like, it's this lineage of, because she, meaning Roxy, I mean, she's born after all of our dogs. So in some ways, the epigenetic experience of what our dogs went through with us is imprinted in our new dog and also in our neural pathways. And so it's like, suddenly, once we got through the phase of nightmarish, is she going to survive? And then nightmarish, is she going to piss and shit all over that? Like, all of these little milestones that we had to kind of navigate and get through with her, you know, getting her spayed, like all of these different things. You know, she got hurt on one of those hikes that we took where she came home with a puncture wound that we completely clusterfucked trying to fix ourselves, which was comical.
It was like burning Craig's leg to get a tick out.
Right. And she's at a point now where I'm remembering, like, the things that are coming alive in me are the remembrance of what it's like to live with dogs.
Yeah. Because
they're so, like, she follows us everywhere. She's at that really fun toddler phase of just like, what are you doing over here? Where are we going? What's up? What's up? What's that? Can I have that? What's this? What are you eating?
That's in your hand. It must be mine. You know, give it.
She's just asking 1,000 questions to us every single day.
Yeah.
And so she's just been the biggest gift of reconnection with all the love of our dogs, right? Meaning, because you knew my Huskies briefly, so you got to experience them, but you've also experienced my relationship with them over the course of our relationship. And then Angel, which we won't go into too much because
we'll definitely start sobbing.
This podcast will dissolve into a freaking snotty mess. But having Roxy is a connection to those dogs, and Angel included. And so it's so fun to, like, I love the way that she is present. Like, it's interesting. There's a part of me that hates it because she drives us nuts. But then at the same time, she's on point with you at all that, like, you know, if I get up, she gets up. If I go here, she comes with me. You know, she, like, I'll be working at the computer desk and suddenly she's nipping at my toes. Right. She brings you the toy and says, hey, motherfucker, pay attention to me. Pay attention to me. Pay attention to me. Pay attention to me.
She barks at you if you're sitting on the couch and you don't extend it so she can lay down with you.
So I've had to, come on. Like, the lessons that she has given me this year are a reconnection to that love that dogs bring. Yeah. Because, I mean, they're just fucking unconditional. You know what I mean? They just pour love. Yeah. That's all that dogs do is pour love. Cats try to kill you in your sleep, but not dogs Harley. Will pour. Do
you remember Harley? I mean, oh, well, okay. So he tripped a few of us. He might have knocked Craig down the stairs. He did pull the Christmas tree over on our sweet Angel doggy.
Yeah, I remember that cat.
But Harley was also like, if you didn't like him, he didn't like you. So you made your bed. And if you were friends with Harley, Harley was your cuddle bug. He was your pancake kitty. He just was so like him and Stevie were just so close. Yeah. So close. He was such a good kitty. But if you didn't like him, he didn't really have time for you. He would smack the dog when she would walk by. All of a sudden you hear, and she's like afraid, and Harley's behind the couch. Like,
he also gave off the vibe that, like, hey, I can do this to you guys, but nobody else can.
Right.
So if somebody came in the house, like I felt like he would be the one that would be the first one to like into battle for us.
Right. He yelled at my dad. He came in through, was fine. Then he realized and he was like,
so that was always a nice thing. Like, you know, depending on his mood, he might cut your throat, but at the same time, he's protecting us. So he's out there cutting throats for other people that are trying to.
Do you remember when we had the weird cat show up at our house and we're like, how did Harley get out?
Mm-hmm.
And we got him in the house and he was acting psychotic and weird. And then we started getting scared and we're like, what is this like? It didn't feel like Harley, but it was obviously Harley because it looked just like Harley and it was at our house.
Or he's got rabies. What
happened? It was weird. The cat was like, who are you? I'm going to kill you. And we're like kind of afraid. And then Harley sees him and is like, we're like, oh my God, it's not our cat. Do you remember how weird that was?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then that one time we came home and there was a random kitten in our house. We're like, how in the fuck did that happen?
That was the damn kids. Not the damn kids. Those were the kids. Anyways.
So we had random cats in our house that were like, how did this happen?
Do you feel like Roxy's giving you any lessons or, you know, what's been
no, Roxy's not teaching me shit.
It's you doing all the teaching over there.
Right. No, it's been interesting because I took on a really big role with her at the beginning. And because it was when, like, you were adamant about her not being on the couches, which, by the way, Craig has lost that. And Roxy, now she allows us to sit on her couches sometimes.
Sometimes we get the privilege and the honor of getting to sit on her furniture.
I would have, I was up hours at night because, you know, Asher still had school. And so it was like I was up with this newborn.
Yeah.
For so long and trying to get her to comfortable to sleep and outside and sitting on the floor. And it was like, I didn't know how to feel about a lot of it. I didn't know how to feel because we didn't want her. It was too soon for me from Angel. I was not prepared. And it was kind of like a rough situation how she came to be with us.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot of, I've had some shells up. I've had some distance, you know. And it's also, I don't want to be too attached to this punk ass dog that when our son moves,
it's our son's dog, but he's still in high school, so it's like we're doing a lot.
When he moves out, she's gonna move out too, and so there's all of this stuff, but she's also an asshole.
Oh yeah,
she is a punk.
You don't have to tell me.
She has torn up our deck. She has tried to tear up the walls. She is just she bites. She's bossy. She's really, really vocal, which is really, really cute. Also, it's kind of annoying when she just she doesn't always at you.
Right.
She just straight looks at you and starts barking.
I know. 8:30 at night, we're trying to watch a fucking show and relax.
I want what's in your hand, or I want food. And she's just where's my throat again? So there's all of this. And my phone is full of pictures of her.
Right.
She is so cute. She's got got a lab ear and a pit ear, and she looks at you and one's floppy down and one's popping out to the side, and it is so cute. And she does these cute talks, and she'll do all these really cute tricks with food. She doesn't come if you don't have food, and if she's outside she won't. Smart. But she's so smart. She's figured out how to when those Kongs, when there's little pieces inside, she'll pick them up and drop them until the food comes out. I mean, she's got us trained so well. She does. But she's so sweet. She's so sweet, and she's a pain in the ass and all of this. But it's there's this bond with her. Mm-hmm. And there's a barrier that I'm trying to keep. But it's really funny because I had a horrific dream last night. Oh. And I'm not going to say it because I can't even. This is a dream that I'll never say.
I totally forgot that, by the way.
Right? And it's okay that you didn't remember my dream. I forgive you.
I remember you mentioned it this morning, and I didn't bring this topic up in any way, right? I totally spaced it.
But it broke down everything, every wall that I had. I was up last night. I was worried. I was sad. I was just so relieved when I woke up. I was that was a dream. That was a dream. And I was just waiting for her to wake up. I was just waiting for Asher to let us know that that we needed she was ready to go outside because that's the routine. We grab her and then he's getting ready for school. And I was so excited to see her. And every chance I've got, I've just been hugging on her. I'm like, well, these walls are down and I'm fucked because now I am obsessed with this dog. It's no longer, I am obsessed with this dog.
I had to let that wall down.
I saw you do it, and I saw when you realized it did it, because you looked at her and you were like, "Oh fuck."
Yeah.
And that was just a little bit ago.
I had like this subconscious awareness months ago where I was like, okay, I get to choose whether or not I'm like accepting this reality or not, because this dog don't give two shits what my reality is. She's living her own reality.
She is like
and
so strong. She's been so
reality
strong her whole life.
On all of us. And so it's like, I can either choose to accept my reality where I've got this fucking dog in this house and we're trying to figure this thing out, or I can continue to resist it.
Right.
And the resistance part of it was hurting me so bad.
Yeah.
Like it was so painful for me to continually resist this thing. And it was really interesting to have awareness of it, because there's another part of me that's like, no, I put my foot down. Like there's this, you know, toxic dad energy inside of me that's like, no, I refuse, because I drew a line, you know, like the stubbornness of, you know, of stubbornness.
Yeah.
And it was hurting me to continually carry that. And so subconsciously, I think I just kind of like let that go. And along the way, I fell in love with her.
Yeah.
And along the way, it's like,
God damn it.
Oh, hell.
Really like this fucking dog.
Right.
And now it's just like, it's not even just like the stubbornness. It's like, this is his dog.
Yeah.
Like we can't, like, he gets to make the choices. This is his dog.
Yeah.
We get to just do the love and support, but it's his dog.
Yeah.
And then we're going to lose her too.
Wow.
Both of them are going to move out. Both of them.
Okay, slow your roll.
What are we going to do?
Hold on, baby.
I'm not going to be okay.
We're still in 2023. Take a deep breath. Here we are at the table.
He's going to graduate. He's going to be 18. He's going to move out. And then he's taking the dog and they're both going to go. And what's going to happen? So I get to practice another year of grief.
Right? But you've got a year under your belt.
Yeah,
so.
now I know how to grieve. So fun.
So now you get to grieve.
It's fun. You know, yoga school is because we've done a lot of therapy and a lot of coach, or however you want to name it, but we've worked on ourselves for a while, and we've been really going. And that helped me
since we got married
process my emotions. It helped me process trauma. It helped me identify self with other, like what I'm supposed to be. It helped like sort out the individual of me as opposed to the societal and raising of who I was, like everybody, like that they try to compact you into this mold.
Yeah.
It helped me shake all this out. And it's not a great mold. You know, I was like, you're this and you're that, or all of these things. It helped me shake off all of that. But it didn't teach me how to feel. It helped me process. It helped me identify. It helped me grow. It helped me move forward. It helped me start to place responsibility and accountability where it belonged.
Right.
It helped me speak up for myself, find self-worth. But I didn't know how to still, like, there were so many feelings that I could feel, like really identifying things that happened and going through and feeling that. It was a thing that I had to go through, but current things, how to feel. Like I knew how to feel through past experiences, but feeling into my life as it was happening, you know?
I'm so glad you're talking to this right now.
Yeah.
I resonate with this so much.
And then going through that amazing 8 months that ended up being a year-long program.
Yeah.
With Matt Nash, where we learned it's like those are, oh, now here's my soul. I'm connecting with my soul.
Well, yoga,
now I know how to grieve.
Right. Union. And it's like, yeah, I didn't put all of that together, because it's almost like we knew how to feel emotions when we stepped into the space where it's like, okay, this is now the emotion space.
Yeah.
And this is the process of feeling emotions within this container where emotions are felt. And then we would come out of those containers and back into our regular everyday life. And we're like, we don't know what's going on. We don't know how to do anything over here. I try to feel something and it fucks all up. And then somebody gets in that way. It's just still all of this chaos.
Yeah.
And the quietness of actually slowing down and starting to connect to your body in any way.
Yeah.
Right. But then because it's interesting, because you have to have, it's kind of that thing where they've been able to do those like studies on the electrons, protons, whatever, right? The really tiny particles where they will react to being observed.
Yeah.
It's kind of that where you have to have awareness, like stillness in itself is rejuvenating for the body, and it helps. That's why we have to sleep, right? That's why sometimes in our dissociation, the body will continue, like you'll zone out as you're driving home and not realize how you get home. Like there's an aspect of rest that the body will take,
Right.
because it's built into that system, and you can
You're always
override
tired, you can't
that,
stop.
right? You can override that system, but at the end of the day, the body will eventually take that. And that's going to happen regardless. But being able to slow down and cognitively feel when that happens, and to feel your way into that silence, and to be able to cultivate a relationship with it, it opened up so much inside of our bodies to be felt.
Yeah.
And to be released. Like I feel so much more connected to my actual physical, like functioning organs, heart, lungs, my belly, my you know, all of my muscles, like and it comes in conjunction with yoga and jiu-jitsu for me, but yoga shaped and influenced my jiu-jitsu to where now I can be more cognitively connected to that body, as well as all those emotions like you're talking about. That's so cool.
Yeah.
I didn't really put all of that together.
Such a beautiful gift we got from them.
Right.
Because I don't know, like, I know that that's there in yoga and you can find it on, but I don't know that, because usually these, you know, trainings aren't.
Well, like the
I don't think
200 hour is usually like a month.
Right? They're not like, but they did this intensive thing. And if you're one of the lucky ones that have been able to join their program, you are one of the lucky ones, because they don't offer it anymore. Like they're
right.
Like, so
I think it's amazingly synchronistic that we found them and were introduced to them during this time period in our lives, because they played such a pivotal role in our like healing / growth.
Like immense.
Right.
Yeah.
And they also brought yoga with them.
Right. And they also brought yoga with them.
And they also said, hey, here's your spiritual practice that you've already, like, here's the reconnection to the thing that you've already, like, everything was a remembering, everything was a coming back, everything was like, oh yeah, I know what this feels like. Like, I remember how resistant I was to Kriya.
Yeah,
you know,
that's right.
And it was like,
you would even tell him like, this pisses me off.
Right. And it was also just like, this is so stupid. I thought to myself, there's just going to be parts of yoga that I think are dumb and I'm just not interested in them. And that's okay, because you don't have to like all aspects of yoga. And that's what I used to think when they would, you know, when Ash would start teaching Kriya.
I know you get in those debates with her.
And I'd just be like, this is so stupid. Right. And then finally I just let go into it. And it was when we were actually here, because we started doing that 90-day challenge with it.
Yeah.
And we did it.
Yeah.
It was 45 days. It was
40 days.
But
we went way beyond that. Yeah.
And suddenly, we should probably go back to that. And suddenly I was like, oh my God, I know this feeling in my body. I love this feeling. It was a remembrance of the energy flowing through my body. It was like a vibrancy. It was like, oh my God. I remember what it feels like to breathe and to feel my body suddenly. And so I have such a deeper connection to it because of all of those beautiful things, you know? Yeah. This last year has been, you know, it's what we were talking about last night with diving deep.
Yes.
Right. And it's a beautiful metaphor. Maybe we can wrap on this unless you have something else that's coming up for you.
No, I think we'll have plenty to talk about the beginning of next year.
We have so much to talk about.
There's going to be a new
next year.
Yeah.
This is the last episode with this set.
It is the last episode with this set too. So like, if you're a fan of our tables,
but feel that for a minute,
right? Everything's going to look different. Everything is going to be different. Well, that's not going anywhere. It just might not be with the podcast.
Yes, but think about how significant that is. By the way, if you're listening, we're talking about our backdrop.
Yeah. You know what's funny? Can I tell a little story of this?
Please.
So
this is the last time it's going to be on the podcast.
No, it's not. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. It might be. Actually, it's probably the last time it's going to be on the podcast. That's fine. We'll just put it in our room. That's going to sound really narcissistic when I tell the story.
Let's hear it. Shout out to Android Jones.
Android Jones.
Oh my goodness.
So it is this, like, if you're not watching it on YouTube, maybe take a moment to go to YouTube and watch it just so you can look at it for a second, because it's this beautiful tapestry. And it's this divine masculine and divine feminine that are in this like loving connection moment, and they're just in space with each other. Their faces are just so close, yet not touching, but touching in a sense. And it's just this energy and this power, and they're middle-agey, you know, and when
They're adults.
And then when you had found this and showed it to me, and you're like, this is us. We did not have middle-agey adult faces. And it was like, this is us in the future. And there was also like, you were still bald-headed.
This image was when we were in our previous life.
Right? We were. So you were like bald head and no face, you know,
I was a cop.
You were 30s. We were both in our like early 30s. And it was like, yeah, in our future. And this picture's always been with us. So the tapestry hasn't, but we ended up getting that too. I remember he had this really cool cell, and I was able to snag this one for you. This was actually a gift for you.
For my birthday.
And it's because you brought that card that you made on our journals. And so it's been with us for years. And it's funny because we have aged into that phase. Like we resemble this now. Like we knew we resembled it then, but we look like this. And so it's like, you can see that. And like, it's just so amazing. So it's us in another dimension, in another space that's also mingling with now.
You know what I'm realizing, Steph? We need to find, because this is a couple.
Yes.
Like this is a real couple.
Who they was inspired by?
Yeah. So this was done for a real couple. We should find them and have them on the podcast.
That would be amazing.
Right.
Okay, Android Jones, we have.
Right. Because
we need your help.
I've seen.
I didn't know that.
I've seen content on it. I've seen him like talk about it.
So this is for real a couple.
Yeah. He did.
Okay, if anybody listening knows who they are, please help us get in touch with them.
This was a conditioned piece, or a what's that called? Where they
inspired?
No, like they hired him.
Commissioned. They hired her.
Yeah. It's a commissioned piece.
Are you kidding me? Those are people?
Yeah, so they're a real couple.
So please, if you're not watching, go to YouTube and see if you know this piece. See if you know these people and help us meet them. Help us get in contact with them.
Yeah, that would be fun. They'll be on the podcast next year. We'll find them. Hopefully they're still together.
Hopefully with your help, They are.
I imagine.
They are. So with your help, you can help us find them. So help us find these people.
Yeah, the significance of this, I think it became the thing that, like, I looked at it from the perspective go ahead.
I was just thinking the diving deep card.
Yeah.
And the root girl card. And the colors too. Or like, it's uncanning the synchronicities that are coming with it.
Yeah.
And it's so cool.
Druid.
Yep.
Right. So many different things. And this tapestry, now I'm like, fuck it, we can't.
Wait, it's coming. This might be in the next. It still might be there.
Right.
We're going to have different things, but you might still see this.
I think this just stays in the room.
Yeah.
And opposite where we're going to be sitting now, so that we see it.
So we see it.
Because we remember, like you're saying, the significance of this thing now is
massive,
blowing my mind.
Right?
And it became the thing that we stopped seeing because we were so focused on other things.
You're right.
Because like from the editing
even though we would move it and like different things for whatever, for community calls.
Yeah. We've used it in so many different ways.
Yeah, if you've been on our community calls, you saw it there.
Where it just became a backdrop and we lost sight of what it was really an image of.
Wow.
And now we're seeing it in a completely different way.
Are we remembering? Are we remembering again?
It's pretty fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I'm pretty grateful. So I'm glad that this happened.
Me too.
We needed to have that awareness for ourselves.
Yeah, we so did.
Oh, baby. My nose.
I have tissues.
Okay.
There you go.
So we'll end on this.
We're gonna end on
last night.
We'll see you next year. Sorry. We'll end on this one. Bye. We're out. Sorry.
Oh shit. I love you so much. Oh God.
Okay.
I needed something to get me back, babe, because I didn't know how I was going to get through this last part. Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. I am here for you.
Fucking greatest, best friend, partner, travel buddy ever. I fucking love you.
I love you.
So yesterday, this episode's being recorded on December 12th.
It's on new moon.
On the actual new moon of basically the last new moon of this year.
It is.
And we have been going through a very big transformational experience over the last month and a half that is involving all sorts of different aspects of next year, what you're going to be seeing on the podcast, as well as our social media, as well as just how you're going to be seeing us show up in a different way. And it's coming with an immense amount of fear.
Excuse me.
And so we're having to like really lean into holding that fear and continuing forward. And so last night you pull some cards for me, and we're not going to go into the deck and the magic aspects of this is a magical deck that is in your hands right now. It's in your possession right now. And it's a magical deck for all sorts of different reasons. And we finally got to the point where it was the right time for you to pull cards. And it came yesterday, and yesterday was a day of like, I felt like what happened yesterday was we both just went like, we got so triggered trying to converse about things. Oh my goodness. And like I got so angry, and I know you got so angry, and it's like we got so deep into this activated moment. And yet by the end of the day, we were sitting on the couch together, just enveloped in all of our love and all of our excitement and all of our like fucking good energy that we keep experiencing. And you pull these magical cards, and the first one that came out was Deep Dive, and the image was beautiful. There's so much connection for me from not just being a Pisces, but also like water is very magical for me. And what came of that experience and like there's too much to go into here where I just will be bawling the entire time. But in essence, what I realized was you and I keep diving deeper into our shadow, and we keep going deeper and deeper and deeper into it. And it has to be countered with the amount of light that we're experiencing, because life for us just keeps getting better and better and better and more amazing. And we're like, oh my God, can it get any better? And then we wake up the next day and we're like, oh my God, I just got better. And simultaneously, we're in some of the heaviest, darkest shit that we've been in. Yeah. And they coexist at the same time. Like, it's so bananas to me to be like, everything's going really, 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 really well. Like better than I have to start. It's kind of that cool thing where it's like, I got to start dreaming bigger because everything's going really well. And everything's really hard, you know, but like yesterday, our ability to almost navigate those two extremes to some extent in the same day, right? Like for us to have that, like, it's like we hurried up and we dove super deep into shit super fast because we were super triggered. And we just went really hard into it and got really angry. And then we were able to use all of our like incredible coping skills now that are healthy by like
giving each other space and time. And also like there was an inherent understanding that like, yes, we apologized, I think, to each other, but I also think there was just an inherent knowingness that like, that wasn't us. We were just really triggered, and we were able to just let that experience happen. And then, like I said, it didn't completely steer us off the rails. It didn't completely, take us out for 4 days or 5 days, and we didn't live in that place anymore. We didn't live in those chaotic moments. We didn't live in those spots where things got so tense that we both, we don't live in that space anymore. And in not just our lives, but in our relationship, we lived in that space a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm so grateful that we get to be where we're at now. And it's just this amazing thing. So I got lost in that story. So the idea of you got to go deep if you want a lot of light, because it just gets better and better. And the more light you have, the deeper you can go, because like up on the surface, it's so fucking bright. Like we got to wear shades, but it's like so bright that allows us to go deeper into the shadow and down. Like it's just really beautiful.
Yeah.
So
I'm glad that you said that. Thank you for sharing that and showing me that piece too. But it's so important for people to hear when we're talking about how good our life is and how things are going so well and how we get to do this. Like it's not because there's an absence of challenge. It's not because there's an absence of, it's just we don't hide from it anymore.
Yeah.
We sit with it. We feel it. We still get surprised. We still get rocked.
Right.
We still get fucking triggered.
Yeah.
We do it just differently now. It doesn't unfortunately, it doesn't mean all the shit goes away.
I know.
I used to think that's what it meant. And that's what I thought the goal was. And anything less than was,
Yeah. I feel like this is the goal.
This is the goal.
Right. Just to be able to live it and experience it and not have it fuck everything up. Because we're going to have these moments again.
We're going to have them again.
So,
and until it changes.
Until we don't.
Until we don't.
Yeah. I'm excited for that day. But then who knows? Because by that time we'll be like living on the bottom of the ocean.
And who knows?
It'll be so deep.
That's what she said.
That's what she said. Oh, thank you everybody for all the support this year. 2023 obviously has been an amazing year for us. Thank you. Like we talk about it a lot lately, but we cannot, the level of love and outpouring of like support on social media has just been unreal for us. It's been such an amazing experience to get to kind of also have come along for this whole ride that we've been talking about this year. And so everybody on social media that, if you found us this year, if you've been following us for a long time, like all of it has just been really near and dear to our hearts. And behind the scenes, it's something that we talk about every day. And you have become an amazing community for us to get to participate and be a part of. And it's crazy to us that we get to just hang out at our house and record stuff on our cell phones and then share it with all of you and then get to have this amazing experience.
Right, we're getting to really know some of you.
Yeah.
There's a lot, we're getting to know you and you're getting to know us. It's like
we
like
honestly
beyond the reels, like in the comments, like we're getting to know you.
We honestly go back and forth with because part of me wants to acknowledge the people that are consistently showing up and supporting us in regards to not just engagement, but like the beauty of being able to actually connect and start learning about each other, I think. And I hope that we share enough. I always think about that too, where we try to balance between how much of ourselves do we share versus how much of ourselves, is just for us.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I hope that we share enough that you can get a sense of who we are and where we're from and, what our experiences are like, because we're learning more and more that that's kind of what this is all about, is us just sharing our journey with you and this journey of healing and everything else. Baby. Oh my goodness.
We're full of a lot of love and gratitude right now.
Yeah, so much. And we're excited. Yeah. So excited.
And it's a big deal. Like our changes are coming up and we're just feeling it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of transformation, so
Yeah.
we're feeling it.
So, and if we've worked with you this year, if you've been one of the coaching clients that we've, like, if you've had those calls with us this year, oh my goodness, all the people, we had so many opportunities to meet people this year across this globe on all of these calls that we had, because we did a ton of free discovery calls this year with people that were interested in our coaching practice. And not only that, we also got to work with a lot of people in our coaching practice. And that was such a gift as well.
Such amazing.
Like, we are so grateful for that experience and so grateful for each one of you that we got to work with. We're not going to shout out people because...
Yeah, we won't do that.
But you know who you are. If we worked with you this year and you sat on calls with us week after week after week, we love you and we appreciate you so much. And this year would not have been what it was without you for us. That's how significant it was to kind of go on those journeys with all of you.
Like, you probably heard us say too, like, we're getting as much from those calls as you're getting from us. Like, we got as much from you as you got from us. We're really, really grateful for you.
So much, so many different things that have really shaped and molded where we're at today. That's been amazing. There's just so many things we're so grateful for. And it's sometimes we forget. So, like, we could go on and on and on and on about all these amazing gifts that we've received this year. And we're excited to turn around and share all of that stuff with all of you. So
we'll see you.
Baby's like, I got to go to the bathroom. Let's end this episode.
Like, we are like, this is the perfect way to go. We're not going to do a question at the end of this one. We're just off, like, sending so much love, and like, come join us. If you're here, like, search us out on the other platforms. Just come join us, and we're still going to be popping out content.
Yeah.
We're still going to be creating content, both as far as the podcast. We'll see the podcast peeps in 2024. But you can still...
What does that mean? I'm so confused by what you just said, but that's okay.
We're still going to be doing reels and, like, content. We're still putting content out. So social media, we're not going anywhere, but as for if you only listen to the podcast, we'll see you in 2024.
Okay.
At the beginning of 2024.
That makes it sound like we're getting rid of the podcast.
We'll see you in 2024.
Yes,
we're going to see you in like 2 weeks.
Sorry.
It's like 2 weeks. It's okay.
We're actually getting a very long vacation.
It's like 2 weeks.
We're giving ourselves 2 weeks
Maybe
off.
It's 3. I think it's 2 weeks. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Right. Hopefully. Fingers crossed, because we got to get the new set designed.
Oh, are we not going to do it till we get the new set?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
New episodes don't start unless that
I'm like, January 1st, we're recording.
On what?
I don't know. I can already see it in my head. Aren't we sitting in it right now?
We do. We actually need to, like, we can just go record these on our really nice Roxy
I didn't
couches.
realize that we were waiting till the set was actually done.
Baby, it's the new look.
Oh, shit. Well, it might not be 2 weeks. So if you only listen to the podcast, you definitely have to go find us on social media, because it might be a minute.
No, it's going to be in January. It'll be in January. I'm telling myself it's going to be in January.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was going to be at the beginning of January.
Do you know why? Because it doesn't have to be perfect. That's why it's going to be
done is better than perfect.
Yeah. If we fucking
well, then January 1st. We can sit on each other's laps and then one chair.
Can we enjoy Christmas?
Can we?
Right. That's kind of what I'm telling myself. Hey, we're not fighting. Let's fucking end this episode before we spiral out. I love you so much. I don't. Goodbye. We'll see you guys next year. We'll see everybody next year. All of you.
That makes it sound like the podcast is ending.
Oh, expect the best.
Plan for the greatest.